If you were in TikTok in 2023, there was one thing certain that you would see. And no, it was not LeBron's stick pic. I wish it was, but it was rather a manga called Kagurabachi. I don't know who started it, I don't know how it started, but it started. The overflow of memes that would come from this manga would flood my entire FIP. But the crazy thing was, the manga hadn't even released it. The first chapter wasn't even officially released, and just based upon leaks, the manga basically ruled the anime and the manga community. And the memes about it were just ultra glazing. Let's just look at the memes. And it felt like everybody was participating on this meme, and low-key it was really funny at first. Seeing this manga and people glazing the shit out of this manga was kind of fun, but like every meme, the more it gets overused, the more stale it will get. And I thought this meme will slowly fade away, but how wrong was I? Because this meme was genuinely massive. When this manga's first chapter was officially released, it had like more than 1 million views on these official manga sites. And this didn't end here. Its volume 1 had like 50k sales in like 8 weeks, and volume 5 literally has over 1.3 million sales. But you know what? I was skeptical. The glaze was too much. And I, being an ignorant person, I thought this will not last long. Or even maybe this thing wasn't good at all. But this all changed for me when I saw this manga win the next anime awards. Normally I couldn't give a shit about awards, but this next manga awards was something different. It was something that I had previously looked into. I found this from Trash Taste, especially when Gaunt and Joey would help to announce winners and so. And I also had read a few manga which won some awards, and they were actually good. So when Kagurabachi won the next anime awards, I kinda wanted to read it, and I gave it a try. And now I'm going to review it. The plot. The plot of this manga is, to be honest, nothing crazy. This is a story, to put in simple terms, about revenge. Our main character and his father were living in a remote area, and his father was kinda like swordsmith who was responsible for the creation of swords, katanas, and these katanas like really helped in the war that occurred like 18 years ago. The creation of his father were like pivotal to end the war, but because his father kinda created these crazy enchanted blades, now they are a group called Hisaku, which now kills his father for those like 6 enchanted blades. And this is where the story develops into a revenge-based story. And even though I said this story is really nothing crazy, but it is still good. The basic structure is really simple and it involves around this revenge, but it still has really more things to offer. The subplot are there which enhances the story and makes it kind of more deeper and connected to many characters introduced in the story. There are a lot of like a political aspect to it too, like it makes me wonder which side to the party is right or wrong. Whether the war was really a good thing or not heavily involves around how people view the war too, or the heroes of the war, whether they are really like the heroes or whether they're just murderers who are held as a hero. For example, like in Attack of Titan, people argue whether Eren is really a hero or a villain. Maybe in our perspective he is a hero, but maybe in the people of the manga's perspective he is really the villain. Now for the characters, they are great too. The main characters, the side characters, and even the villains are great so far. The characters are not bland. Each characters have something going on for them. They have their own beliefs, their own problems, which really contribute to the story. And it also brings a deeper connection to many characters in the story. While the story structure is simple, I will say the characters play an important role to move the story. Each character has something that drives the story. The characters really bring a depth to the story, and the characters are kind of deep as well. The art is cool too, nothing crazy, but it has a simple art and it does its job really well. The character designs are clean, although I can see some resemblance to the character design from other shonen mangas. For example, these characters look like this, but I guess in a shonen you can see similarities across many shonen mangas. The action scenes are great too. The power system is cool too. This manga has like sorcery or magic, but there is an interesting addition of katanas and sorcery used together, so brings a really interesting and a unique action scenes to it. And the action scenes for those are really well done too. And while these are the pros of this manga, there are also some cons. The first con I would say I noticed was some characters which are seen kind of like weak in the beginning, like suddenly become like very powerful. It is a common phenomena in most mangas in general, but it is pretty evident too. And it kind of makes sense because they are in a situation where they are emotionally and like mentally have to overcome and they gain the power. But it also kind of seems kind of lackluster or maybe even really predictable. This is of course not a really big thing. This doesn't really ruin my experience or anything, but it is definitely something I noticed. Another slight problem would be the characters kind of just die. Initially some villains are shown as bad dude, but as we progress we get into their character as well and they are slowly become likable. So when we are just getting attached to this character, they just die. You may argue that purpose have been kind of fulfilled, so they kind of die. I mean, they are bad guys after all, but it still leaves a kind of bad taste in my mouth. I would say like the death is kind of pointless in some cases. I mean, I would rather not have a pointless death. And I think this is a valid argument. Other than that, there's really nothing I would say I would like to criticize, to be honest. I would very much like to see how it unfolds in the future because there are a lot of moving parts to the story. There are also a lot of things that I didn't uncover because I want people to read this manga and experience it themselves. And now as for the rating, I would say the plot itself, I would give it like a solid 8 by 10. The story is developing to an interesting direction as of 72 chapters, so it might go up. The characters are definitely a 9 by 10, like so much depth to them and they are just great in general. The art is also a 9 by 10, simple yet does its job very well. And overall, a great score of 8.5 out of 10. I would definitely recommend it. And as for the question, was it really just a meme? No. Feel free to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.